front of hopefully a rapturous crowd at Old Trafford.
Do you know
Billions.
what? Can we not mention the crowd?
In front of people. Hopefully you two in the press box.
Well, we're performing, didn't you know? We're a duet.
I won't be there. I'll be
Kaplan
watching.
and Davidson featuring the
If
songs.
people didn't want to buy tickets, it's like Simon and Garfunkel, but
after having throat cancer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I won't be there this year because I'm at the Wakefield Trinity Ladies End of Season Awards because I've been invited, so that's good. I can get fed as well, so you know, I don't like the Old Trafford.
Is it the Weatherby Whaler?
It's at it's at the home of Rugby League.
The Rolling Shack.
Yeah, so I'll take my camera, see what we can get. St Helens versus Catalans. Everyone wants Catalans to win, apart from St Helens, who want St Helens to win, and apart from people who don't like the French. So
that's a lot of people.
It is. Sam Tompkins versus Lachlan Coote if he's fit. Sam Tompkins that is.
Oh, gosh.
James Roby, James Maloney, Jet Wellesby, a lot of forward people who just run around and bash people.
Morgan Knowles, Ben Garcia is one that I'm particularly looking forward to.
Well, I think the funny thing, just looking back at the Magic weekend,
I'm going to
there was obviously
double crew.
I can't remember the conversations with you two or Mr. Wilson or Mr. Schofield. There was a lot of moaning when Golden Point came in and it's not fair. Not yourself, but others. I didn't see a lot of moaning after the Magic weekend when there was back to back. Yeah, funny that. I think that game, that particularly not the Leeds whole game, but the Catalans and Helens game, when they shipped 18 points in 5 minutes, was just insane. One of the most insane games I've ever seen in 40 years. I think that gives Catalans the belief that they can go on. I still think St Helens are slight favourites.
The bookies are making them favourites.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've won it 2 years in a row. You look at the way they've played literally all season. You know, the way they've dismantled Leeds. I mean, Leeds did kind of well to kind of be in it for a bit. You know, they could have been beaten by 50 or 60. Yeah. But the way that the form that Alex Walmsley's in and that forward pack, I mean, he's just destroying teams.
But I think the guy who's the most underestimated in that St Helens pack, which sounds ridiculous because he's the master of his craft and has been for 18 seasons, is James Roby. Because not only does he play the full 80 minutes now, but he has done for a long time, but he's still at his age playing the full 80 minutes. But if he didn't give Walmsley the service that he gets, the absolutely precise moment to give him the best ball, Walmsley would be less effective. Roby, to me, is the key. And I think your mentioning of that game at Magic, yes, it gives the Dragons the belief. I have a feeling it gives Saints the motivation to
it does
not let that happen again.
I think also, you mentioned Roby, but they are just such a well-oiled machine across the field. You know, you can talk about Coote at the back, you can talk about Makinson and Grace and the work they do off the ball, the finish, but also the meters, the way they start the sets, and then Nagama and Percival, the skill they have. I mean, Lewis Dodd, he's a superstar in the making. I think he'll be playing for England in the next 12 to 18 months.
Well, certainly should be playing for England Knights against Jamaica.
I mean, losing Theo Farge
but
and just the way
Lomax
that
slipped back into the team as if he'd never been away. Yeah. But the thing about Saints on...
And Morgan Knowles.
The thing about Saints on Friday that I think meant they were never going to be beaten, and why I think they're a threat, and Tompkins has to play for Catalan to drop Morg back onto the bench to give them something extra when he comes on, was the Saints substitute. Because it's very rare that people come on and actually the intensity level is not only maintained but goes up.
I think we saw that in the Challenge Cup final. I mean, the work that McCarthy Scarsbrook and Kyle Amor are doing, the numbers they're posting, you know, they've not got
and then
a lot of recognition.
Wellesby, who can play anywhere, coming off the bench.
I mean, he's good enough to be starting at fullback, centre, 6, wherever, and virtually every other team. Yeah. I mean, he's just a talent. So I think Catalans have got their work cut out for them. But in saying that, they're also a very talented team with a lot of experience. James Maloney played in however many grand finals. He's won Origins. He's played for Australia.
Well, I think you look at their spine. If Tompkins plays, which I think he has to, he'd been there, done that. Maloney, been there, done that. Drinkwater can control the game.
How did Drinkwater not get in the dream team? I mean, you look at his numbers.
Michael McAlorum.
I mean, the
Been
world's
there, done
slowest intercept and try, but still, he got there.
You're looking at that spine.
It's great.
But I think you also do have to bring somebody off the bench who can change a game, because there'll be a period
And that's
where
Morg.
that's Morg and that's Wellesby.
Mm.
If Sam Tompkins doesn't play, I genuinely think Saints will win. And I think it might follow the same pattern as the Challenge Cup final. It'll be close at half time, but they'll close it down.
I think he'll definitely play, whether he's injected up or what. And the fact they've got Morg on the bench, who is a fullback,
yeah.
You know, if after 10, 20 minutes he's struggling.
I just don't think you can go into a game like with a player that isn't. I'd rather you don't play a player that isn't fully fit.
I think he's that,
but if
that
he's
vital,
fit and he plays and he can exert influence on the game, Morg drops back to the bench, then I reckon it is anybody's game.
I think also someone who's been in probably career best form, at least since 2017 at Cast, is Mike McMeekin. You know, he's thrived.
Well, I also think that they've got more out of Julian Bousquet and Mikael Gudemond than they have had in previous. Whereas we talked very, very sketchy at the beginning of the programme about maybe the Wigan forwards haven't kicked on. Those two have. You know, Bousquet
look at Tom Davies, the form that he's in. And also, you talk about the forward pack. I think the question around Catalans at the start of the year in pre-season was they lost a lot of experience. They lost a lot of forwards. They lost Remy Castilla, Sam Mar. Falau went whatever Falau does. Plays park footy in the Gold Coast, whatever. Joins right wing parties. But you know they lost a lot of key experienced players, and I think that the thinking was they've gone too small. You know they might get bullied in the forwards.
And then they bring Cassiano off the bench.
But they've been the best team all year, haven't they?
The two teams have responded best to the rule changes.
Yeah.
Because they've got athletic players who can play long minutes and speed out a dummy half. And nobody does it as well as St Helens and Catalans do it. And I genuinely hope that we get a replica of Magic Weekend. I think we're more likely to get a game that is a bit like the Challenge Cup final. There'll be some flashes of absolute brilliance, but it'll be a bit like the NRL Grand Final. It'll be less points scored. It'll be a bit cagey.
I can't see either side being, winning by a big score. But,
no, I hope not.
Yeah, it should be a fantastic spectacle because they are the two best teams in the country.
Mark says Robbie's the man.
Well,
however,
in two countries.
Wellesby is the Stardust. Who's going to win the should be Rob Burrow medal, but it isn't.
You're asking two people if we're allowed to go who may be able to vote for it. I don't.
Before the game's played, you want us to pick? Yeah,
I
Tompkins or Roby, there you go. Yeah,
I clearly think that if Catalan are going to win it, then Maloney will have had a big say in that. And I think that if Saints are going to win it, clearly Waltz is going to have had a big say in it. But they're only the odds that a bookie would give you. I don't know. There could be a star performer out of somewhere. You know, I'm a massive admirer of Dean Farrell. I've always liked the way he played. I think when he came over at his absolute peak playing for New Zealand, he can do some special things. He's a great defender, but he's got wonderful hands. For all I know, he's going to be the man of the match because he's going to either score or set up 3 tries for his win.
His career was going so well at Manly until he went to Penrith, and that was the downhill.
But he's got something that, again, that he could,
yeah.
like Percival can for St Helens, he could produce something out of nothing that could be the game breaker. I genuinely don't know.
I think the good thing about Catalans too, in previous years, it's always been the imports, whether it be Stacey Jones or Todd Carney or Steve Menzies. But there is, I think it's 15 out of that 27-man squad are French.
Absolutely.
And there's some really exciting young French players as well as some, Busquets, your Garcias, your Battieris, Phil Yaha. So that's great to see.
No odds on whether Louis McCarthy scars, but we'll swear on the telly though.
Short odds.
Yeah.
He'll be swearing in 4020 magazine for sure.
Will the young stars of the final be made available to the media after the game, or will they be shuttered off by the clubs? Asked JWell TV. I don't know. Are we in a mix zone again?
We're not sure because at the end of this week, we're getting back to press conferences actually in the round. I don't think we'll get the same access as we've had in the past.
No. The world has changed, viewer.